The Belvedere falls first, dragging the metal framework and the decking after it. 47 people drop into a threshing machine of spars and beams. Only 6 of these people will survive, one of them a boy of 6, whose parents wrap themselves around him as they fall. The rubberized wires carrying power along the pier spark like fireworks as they're torn apart. All the lights go out on the end of the pier. The barrel organ wheezes to a halt. The men swimming out to help are lifted on the small tsunami generated by the mass of broken pier entering the water. It passes under them and heads towards the beach, where it sends everyone scurrying above the high water mark as if it were infected by the event which caused it. The arcade manager sits in his tiny office at the end of the pier, the dead receiver pressed to his ear. He is 25. He has never even been to London. He has no idea what to do. The pilot of a twin-engine Cessna 76D looks down. He can't believe what he's seeing. He banks and circles the pier to double-check before radioing Shoreham Tower. The pier is now in 2 separate sections, the ragged end of one facing the ragged end of the other, 45 tons of wood and metal knotted in the water between them. Some of those stranded on the seaward section stand at the edge, desperate to be seen and heard by anyone who might rescue them. Others hang back, trying to gauge the most dependable part of the structure. 3 couples are trapped in the ghost train, listening to the noises outside, fearful that if they manage to get out, they will find themselves watching the end of the world. On the landward section, 2 people lie motionless on the decking, and 3 others are too badly injured to move. A woman is shaking the body of her unconscious husband as if he has overslept and is late for work, while a man with tattooed forearms chases the petrified cocker spaniel in a large figure of 8. An elderly lady has had a fatal heart attack and remains seated on a bench, head tilted to one side, as if she has dozed off and missed all the excitement. Faint sirens can be heard from the maze of the town. 2 of the swimming men turn back, frightened that they will be struck by yet more of the pier collapsing, but the other 3 swim on into the archipelago of bodies and broken wood. The pier looms overhead, so much bigger than it has ever seemed from the beach, or up there on the walkway, so much darker, more malign. The men can hear the groan and crunch of girders still settling beneath them in the water. They find a terrified woman, 2 girls who turn out to be sisters, and a man still wearing his spectacles who floats upright in the swell like a seal, only vaguely aware of his surroundings. The woman is hyperventilating and lashing out so wildly that the men wonder initially if she's caught on something under the surface. Only the sisters seem wholly compos mentis, so one of the rescuers escorts them back to the shore. The man wearing the spectacles asks what has happened, then asks for the explanation to be repeated. The panicking woman won't let anyone come near her, so they have to tread water and let her expend all her energy and come perilously close to drowning before she is tractable. Just beyond the end of the pier, 5 empty lifebelts are making their way out to sea. A young man on the promenade lifts his Leica and takes 3 photographs. Only when he reads the paper the following morning will he realize what is happening in these pictures. Immediately he will open the camera and yank the film out of its drum so that the images are burned away by the light. The air-sea rescue helicopter rises from its painted yellow circle on the runway at Shoreham, tilts into the prevailing wind, and swings off the airfield. 5 minutes. 58 dead. On the promenade, a number of those who ran to safety have failed to find wives or husbands or children or parents. The manager has closed the gate, but these people are weeping and shouting, trying to get back onto the pier. There are no police in attendance yet, and he can see that keeping them here against their will may be as dangerous as letting them through, and he doesn't want this responsibility, so he reopens the gate, and 12 of them pour past as if he has opened the doors to a January sale. The last of these is a girl of no more than 8 years old. He grabs her collar. She fights and weeps at the end of his arm. The lifeboat is scrambled. On the eastern side of the pier, a farmer from Bicester is trying to prise the 6-year-old boy from between his parents. The boy can surely see that they are dead. Half his father's head is missing. Or perhaps he can't see this. He won't let go of them, and his grip is so tight that the man is afraid he will break the boy's arm if he pulls any harder. He asks the boy what his name is, but the boy won't answer. The boy is in some private hell, which he will never entirely leave. The farmer has no choice but to turn and swim, towing the three of them ashore. Only when he tries to stand will he realize that his ankle is broken. The tattooed man comes running down the pier, clasping the cocker spaniel to his chest, and when he runs through the gate onto the promenade, the two of them are greeted by cheers and whoops from a crowd eager to celebrate some small good thing. 8 minutes. 59 dead. The helicopter appears in the sun glare from the west. Everyone on the promenade hears the growing pulse of the rotors and turns to watch. None of the 11 people running onto the pier find their missing relatives among the injured and unconscious, so they stand near the ragged chasm and shout to the people on the other side. Have they seen an old lady in a green wind cheater, a little girl with long red hair? But the people on the far side are not interested in the lady in the wind cheater and the girl with red hair, because they are missing relatives of their own, and they are terrified that the rest of the pier will collapse, and the only thing they want to know is when they are going to be rescued. 2 ambulances reach the seafront, but the traffic is jammed so tight that the crews have to run, carrying stretchers and emergency bags. 5 stay with the injured on the front, 3 continue onto the pier itself. 3 policemen are trying to push the spectators back, some of whom resent being evicted from ringside seats. Nobody realizes how many people have died. Everyone is thinking how they will tell the story to friends and family and workmates. On the pier, a woman is slid sideways onto a spinal board. An elderly man with a broken collarbone is given morphine. 14 minutes. 60 dead. On the promenade, people are wondering if it was an IRA bomb. No one wants to believe that time and weather can be this dangerous, and it is exciting to think of oneself as a potential target. As the helicopter hovers over the end of the pier, the people below fight to be the first to grab the winchman as he descends, but the downdraft batters them away from its epicenter, and he alights in a circle of empty decking. He scoops a little girl from her mother's arms, and the sight of her being clipped into a harness shames them. As she is hoisted aloft, they start gathering the other children, lining them up in order of age, ready for the next lift. The swimmers come ashore, the sisters, the confused man, the struggling woman, their 3 rescuers. People rush forward with towels. It looks like a competition to see whose will be chosen. The struggling woman drops to her knees and digs her hands into the sand as if nothing and no one is going to separate her from solid ground ever again. The body of the old woman who had a heart attack is carried through the service gate under a white sheet into a sudden hush. There are still people on the front who think she is the only person who has died. The farmer, towing the little boy and his dead parents, hauls them into the shallows and feels one end of his broken fibula grinding against the other. It should hurt, but he can feel no pain. He needs very badly to lie down. He rolls over into the water and looks at the clouds. People rush into the surf, then see his cargo and come to a halt. A young woman steps between them, a nurse from Southampton, where she works in the accident and emergency department. She has seen much worse. She is the only black person on the entire beach. She puts her hands flat on the boy's shoulders, and some of those watching wonder if she is using voodoo. But it is the steadiness of her voice which enables him to let go of his parents' bodies and turn and be held by someone who is not frightened. The colour of her skin helps too. The fact that she is so different from all these other people among whom he no longer belongs. Her name is Renee. They will stay in touch with one another for the next 30 years. The 4th child is lifted into the helicopter, then the 5th. The arcade manager emerges from his tiny office. He realizes that if he is the last person winched to safety, he will be able to say, "I stayed at my post." The last couple escape from the ghost train, the husband kicking his way through Frankenstein's monster painted on the plywood sheeting of the facade.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?